What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers and welcome to Best Bet, where me, Wheezy, and Narcocop are going to give the best bet for each and every fight on the card. And we are here bright and early. The plan for me was to get up at 8:30, get prepared for the show, but I just kept pressing the snooze. So just got up like 10 minutes ago. So this should be fun. Nice and early here. We have a very early start time, which should be awesome. And as always, we're going to go through the best bet for each and every fight on this stacked card. We have 14 fights. And as always, they're going to do two rules here. The first one being we're going to use current UFC lines. Then rule number two, there's going to be no passing. Should be a fun card. Looking forward to it. This card is stacked from top to bottom. I'm here as always with Wheezy. Wheezy, what is up? Are you looking forward to this card?
Yeah, man. If I'm getting up at this hour, it's got to be for a good reason. And this is as good of a reason as I can think of to get out of bed at 8:30 a.m. Central Time, that is. I'm tired. I would like to go back to bed, but now that I'm up, now that I'm talking UFC, I'm ready to ride this day out, win some money. Let's go.
For sure. Then we have Narco. Narco is somebody that is used to getting up early, so he should be just fine. Narco, what is up?
Good morning, boys. With three kids, like I told you guys, the last 11 years I've had no sleep, but I'm freaking ready, man. This card is amazing. It's gonna be a fun one.
Sounds good. So yeah, we have the three of us today. We have about 57 minutes to break this all down. Then we'll be back with the four people next week. But yeah, 14 fights. We have a lot to get through. I do want to shout out the chat before we get started. If you all can please leave a like on the video. Also subscribe to the channel. We go live every week, 1 hour prior to when the prelims do start. We have Sugar Show, first one in the chat. We have Ken as well saying good luck to you as well, Ken. John in the chat. We have Daz in the chat. Palama. We have Philly as well. We have Zach in the chat. Steve, what time for you guys? For me, it's 9:30. For them, it is 8:30. We have Racket, Walter. We have Mystic Sosa as well. And Pure Legend, Eric, Steve, Peter, thank you all for hanging out. I say we get into it. So let's get started. So we have the first fight of the night kicking it off. And this should be a really good fight. We have Tagir Ulanbekov going against Alan Nascimento. Uncle Weezy, what is your best bet for this first fight of the night here?
Yeah, this is a good one, man. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. I think Ulanbekov wins this one by decision. And Ulanbekov by decision right now, the best odds you can get on that looks like about plus 110 or plus 100. And that's a way of getting around the Russian tax here that you're paying for Ulanbekov at like minus 400 on the money line. So, yeah, I'm going to say Ulanbekov wins by decision here, minus 100.
Yep, I'm going to agree with you there for sure. Yeah, a line that really sticks out to me, and I really can't believe this line. Nascimento Ulanbekov, fight goes to decision, sitting at minus 148 on FanDuel. I do agree with you. I think the fight is going to go to decision. I'd be kind of shocked if I saw a finish either way here. But yeah, fight goes to decision, minus 148, covers both sides. Of course, I do think Tagir Ulanbekov is going to get it done, so I do like your stance there, Wheezy, on the Tagir by decision. But yeah, a little bit more juice covering both sides there, minus 148. I do like that quite a bit. Narcocop, what are you looking at here for the first fight of the night?
Right there with you, Brady. I have a play on fight goes to decision, minus 148. Both guys super durable. Both guys never been stopped. Nascimento, you watched that Dana White's Contender Series against Paiva, took a bunch of big punches, took them well, never was really hurt. Does get kind of wild at times, and does get hit a lot, which is concerning against Ulanbekov, who's a good striker. But again, Ulanbekov, you watch him in that Silva fight, he is more of he does throw with power. I don't want to say he doesn't throw with power, but he just doesn't look like he has that killer instinct in him where he gets, tries to get guys out of there. He's more of a technical guy over power. So I do like fight goes to decision, minus 148. I think the line is shallow.
Yeah, I actually like that quite a bit. We have Jack Attack in the building. What is up, Jack Attack? Good morning to you. He says he's got Ulanbekov decision opening up my biggest parlay of the day. There you go. Yeah, I think Ulanbekov does get it done and get it done by decision. All right, so let's move on to the next fight of the night. This is my main event. This is out of all the fights on the card, this surprisingly is the fight I'm looking forward to the most. We have Zong going against Petroski. And I've been joking with Wheezy back and forth all week to message him pretty much every day about this fight. So I can't wait for it, and we're going to get to see it like pretty soon here. So we'll start with Narco Cop. Narco, what are you looking at for this fight here?
You know what? For this fight here, I see it playing out like literally two different ways. For me, it's Petroski really early. Petroski by submission, round 1, plus 600. And then to hedge it out, I do have you round 2, round 3. And my reasoning behind this, round 2, round 3 is for you is round 3 is 2,200. And my reasoning is the fact that this guy is massive for 185. Petroski gasses. Petroski is going to be able to take this guy down. But, this guy, even against the Asker fight, he did get up. He has decent get-ups. And if he makes Petroski work, which, I think he will make him work, if Petroski doesn't get him out of there in the first round, I'm almost certain Petroski's going to be gassed past the 7.5-minute mark against this guy, trying to take a guy that's massive down. I think when this guy comes into the ring today, he's going to be probably 215 pounds. And, when it comes to wrestling, and they mentioned it on my show yesterday, even Mo Miller, who is an MMA fighter, mentioned it, even 15 pounds is a lot when you're there trying to get this guy down. And the later the fight goes, the more tired you get trying to get these takedowns. So, later you or Hugh and early Petroski, so the best bet for me, honestly, is I think Petroski gets this done. Petroski round 1 is a bet I'm looking at plus 270 range.
I think you broke it down perfectly there. I think it's Petroski early or Zong late. And you brought up a lot of good points there. I think I'm going to cover both sides. So I think the most likely scenario is Petroski does get him down early and submits him. But if not, like you said, he's going to be trying to wrestle a much bigger fighter and on short notice as well. I mean, he's the guy that dropped a round to Michael Gilmore. I think Petroski early is definitely very live, but if not, I do see him slowing down and Yazong getting a finish as well. So I don't mind those 2 and 3 sprinkles. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover up both sides here. I'm just going to take the fight doesn't go to decision, minus 185. I actually think it's a very generous line. You got Petroski, who, his win condition is going to be an early finish. He's a minus 225 favorite in Yazong. We've seen Petroski get finished as the fight goes on The Ultimate Fighter. Also, he's been knocked out later in the fight as well. So, I think fight doesn't go to decisions. Probably the best and easiest way to cover this fight, minus 185. I do like that quite a bit. Wheezy, what are you looking at for this fight here?
Yeah, you couldn't pay me to gamble on this fight, dude. I have no idea what version of who is gonna show up, how many improvements he's made. It's been 3 years since we've seen him in the cage, and we've only seen him in the UFC fight a heavyweight and a light heavyweight. And then Petroski's taking the fight, like you guys mentioned, on short notice. This was supposed to be Amidovsky fighting who. So, I would like Petroski and probably bet Petroski if he had a full camp for this fight and if it was in the United States instead of being on Fight Island. I kind of like that look for who round 3 that Narco Cop was talking about. That way, I don't have to gamble much on the fight because I don't have a heavy lean either way, and there's a lot of upside. So, what did you say the who round 3 was, Narco Cop?
Plus 2,200?
Yeah, man, that's cheeky, dude. Let's do like 0.1 units on that, plus 2,200, and hope that Petroski does gas out. This fight probably doesn't go to decision, but to see it finish in the 3rd round, 22-1 would be really nice odds. So I like that lean there.
If you want to get crazier, by KO, round 3 is plus 3,200.
Yep,
that's nice.
I've already sprinkled that myself a little bit, but we'll see what happens. But looking forward to this fight. Looking forward to the return of Yazong, who, has he made improvements? I don't know, but we'll have to find out. It should be a pretty hilarious fight, nonetheless. We have Adrian in the chat with the dono, always killing it with the donos. Gang Online, absolutely crushing time. Ass shaving Mac 1 to run through Murphy like a machete through butter. There you go. He's predicting an ass shaving for Mac 1 there. So we'll talk about that actually now. But we do have 205 of you in here early. Appreciate you all hanging out. If you all can smash that like button, that'd be much, much appreciated here. But we do have the next fight of the night. And we have Makwan Amirkhani going against Lerone Murphy. Weezy, we'll start with you. What do you like in here?
Sorry, was having a hard time finding the mute button there. For this one, I think that Amirkhani submission round 1 would be a great way to play this one. At plus 1,300 right now. Look, he's going to wrestle. He doesn't want to strike with this guy, and his best win condition is to get him down early when they're both dry and work those front choke sequences that he works. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call for you guys on this one, because there's just too much of a premium on the price of Lerone Murphy right here. If Amirkhani beats him, he's going to get him down early and submit him. And so that's what I would bet here. That way I don't have to bet a lot on the fight either, because it's not a fight I have a strong lean on.
Yep, I put the same thing. I put Makwan Amirkhani wins it in round 1. Yeah, don't like a ton on this fight, but that was one thing that stuck out. I saw that Makwan wins by first round submission earlier in the week was plus 1,700, but looks like that line's gone now. But yeah, I think if Makwan does win, there's a really good chance it's going to be in the first round. I think, worst case scenario, I think he does win that first round. This is a fight I'm going to attack more so from a live betting standpoint. I think if Makwan does win the first, you can definitely get a much better price on Murphy, who's minus 300 right now, which I don't like that. But yeah, live betting for me. But if I had to bet something pre-flop, it probably would be this Makwan wins in round 1, plus 1,100. Don't mind a shot there. Narco, what are you looking at for this fight?
I do like what you guys have here in Amirkhani round 1 submission is a good line, but I just think both these guys are very durable, especially Amirkhani taking punches and stuff like that. Guy's super durable, been only stopped one time. That was by Burgos in round 3, and those were from body shots actually. And Murphy himself is not like a big finisher. Half of his wins have gone to decision. Like I said, Amirkhani, very, very durable. And if he doesn't get it really early, I kind of don't understand why this line, fight goes to decision, is plus money. You can get it at plus 110. It was hanging at plus 120 for a long time on FanDuel. And when I just looked at it right now and I refreshed it, it went down to plus 106. But another way to look at it is, since you guys do like Amirkhani, Murphy round 3 is not terrible either, because we know Amirkhani gasses a bunch because he is so grapple heavy, and you can get Murphy round 3 plus 1,000.
Sounds good. Interesting angles there to attack. Yeah, plus fight goes to decision plus money's not a bad look. I do agree. Both guys pretty durable there. If Makwan does not finish him early, I think the only thing, like you said, I'd worry about would be like a Murphy late finish. But yeah, outside of that, don't mind that look at all. So let's keep on moving on up the card. We have Mikhail Oleksiejczuk going against Shamil Gamzatov. I'll kick this one off here. I took a small stab on the fight doesn't go to decision at plus 145 earlier in the week. It is now sitting at plus 120. I still don't hate that. We see that Oleksiejczuk has been finished in all 4 of his losses. And I actually think if Shamil does go to the takedown route here and take down Oleksiejczuk, a submission could be possible. Oleksiejczuk has been submitted 3 times. On the flip side, Oleksiejczuk has a lot of power, a lot of volume. Gamzatov's never lost, but it would not shock me at all if he was able to knock him out. This is a light heavyweight fight. Both guys are finishers. Both guys have at least a 70% finish rate. And we're getting a fight doesn't go decision prop at plus money. Don't mind the shot there, plus 120. Don't mind a little bit on that. So that's what I'm looking at there for that one. Weezy, what are you looking at for this fight here?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I actually have the exact same bet. I have 0.75 units on the fight doesn't go. I find that there's a very high correlation between 100% finish rate, 100% finish rates in the combined losses of the 2 combatants and fights not going to decision. You get 100% finish rate in the combined losses and plus money on that fight doesn't go number, and it's a really great spot that you don't want to avoid often. You can still get it at plus 120. And I think it's the best bet, because the problem here is I don't have a great read on these 2 gentlemen. We need to see Gamzatov tested at a higher level. The guys that he's gotten submissions against are very low level, one of them actually being the great Yuri Gorbenko with 50 losses on his record. So, yeah, man, it's going to be fight doesn't go for me here. Other than that, I don't see a lot of value sticking out.
Yeah, that was like the only thing that stuck out for me as well. Narco, what are you looking at here for this fight?
I dug kind of deep on this fight just to see this guy Gamzatov that's 14-0, Dagestani. First thing that I thought is, man, this guy's got to be one of those crazy Dagestani, grapplers slash, ground and pound. Absolutely not, guys. This is not the guy. I don't like what I saw on tape from this dude. Very low volume, a lot of like gimmicky kicks, and not even very good hands from this guy. I just, he's fought really low level guys. The fight against Abreu, who's not in the UFC anymore, I think he lost that fight. Oleksiejczuk is a veteran of the UFC, brings a lot of pressure, brings volume, has power. I don't understand why he's the underdog here. I took him at plus 126. The line has been kind of moving now, and I still think it's value at plus 100. I think he should be the rightful favorite in this spot. Even if he's not to stop this guy Chimaev, who seems like he's more defensive than offensive, I still think he wins based on minute winning, based on volume. And the other thing is with Chimaev, I can't even assume he's going to grapple because this guy on tape does not grapple. He just does not like to grapple. So why would I just assume all of a sudden today he's going to grapple against Oleksiejczuk? I doubt it. Maybe he does, but even that, he's not a great grappler. So I'm not really worried. Oleksiejczuk plus money, I think, is the value side here.
Yeah, definitely. I don't disagree at all. I mean, I watched tape on the guy as well. I was like really underwhelmed. I was like, this guy's 14-0. What? And yeah, like you mentioned, he doesn't go for takedowns. He's very low volume. I'm really struggling to find out what he does well, and he's 14-0. So we'll see what happens. But I think you're on the right track there, Narco. Especially if you got him earlier in the week, plus 130, plus 120, and now plus 100. So yeah, I do think Oleksiejczuk is the right side there. So we'll move on to the next fight. We have Zaleski dos Santos going against Benoit Saint-Denis. Really looking forward to this fight. We have a veteran in Zaleski dos Santos going against Saint-Denis. I will kick this one off as well. What I'm looking at for this fight is going to be some violence. So I took the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 186. I have a bet on this fight. I got the under 2.5 rounds around minus 120. And the reason being is, for one, Saint-Denis, he's never been over the 2.5 round mark. Saint-Denis only been to the third round one time, I believe. Dos Santos, he's very dangerous. He has a lot of knockout power. He's a black belt in BJJ. We see that Saint-Denis has a 100% finish rate. I think, I'd be kind of surprised if Saint-Denis does finish Dos Santos, but if Saint-Denis does win, I do think it is some type of finish. We've seen Dos Santos finish 3 times in his career, but I think the most likely scenario here is I think Dos Santos knocks him out at some point in this fight. Saint-Denis, he just started MMA. His very first fight was in 2019. This guy's still very, very green. He's very sloppy, making a ton of mistakes. And I don't think it's going to cut it here against a UFC veteran in Zaleski dos Santos. But, getting the fight doesn't go to decision, minus 186. It covers both sides here. I think we're going to see a finish one way or another. I do like that line actually quite a bit. Narco Cop, what are you looking at for this fight here?
Quote, ass shaving of the week, unquote. Dos Santos, this guy, honestly, Saint-Denis is coming into the UFC way, way too early. This guy started MMA in 2017. This guy's going up against a legit top 15 guy, man. Dos Santos is really, really, really good everywhere. Don't mistake it. He's good on the ground. He doesn't use it, but he's a BJJ black belt. He knows what he's doing on the ground. And it's just the ass shaving of the week for me. Inside the distance, Dos Santos plus 110. I mean, Saint-Denis is so sloppy on the ground, man. Watching him against these low-level guys like Mario Said, watching that fight and having Mario Said reverse you 2 different times from bottom, I mean, it's a red flag. And, another thing I do want to tell everybody, I have a play on it. If you want to sprinkle a little bit of Santos by submission, plus 1,200, because this guy is going to grapple Saint-Denis. He's not going to want to stand with Dos Santos. And he's so sloppy on the ground that I think Dos Santos might be able to catch him with something. I just think Dos Santos is the better fighter everywhere, and it's not even close.
Yeah, I kind of think this Santos win inside the distance line plus 110, it may look like a gift at the end of the day. I mean, that line is something that really does stick out to me. I did take the easy way out and cover it with both sides, but yeah, I do like that. And then also a little bit of a bold submission call by you, plus 1,200 And I get it. I mean, he's a black belt on BJJ, and we see that Saint-Denis is very sloppy. He is submission over position. I could see him getting caught in something. So, yep, don't hate that at all. Wheezy, are you on the same page? Or are you looking at something else here?
Yeah, exactly the same page as you guys here. I saw all the same things on tape that you guys did with Saint-Denis. Saw that, he's a good submission grappler, a good wrestler for the regional scene. And even these regional scene guys that he is beating, it's just sloppiness. The one that he won by armbar recently, he had the guy's right arm, or I think it was the left arm, and he was working it, and he just missed the armbar. And then the guy put his right arm right between his legs, and then he wound up finishing the armbar on the right arm. And I was like, wow, was that sloppy? I don't know if it was the Chagas fight, but yeah, Zaleski dos Santos isn't going to make those kind of mistakes that his previous opponents have been making. I just don't think he's ready yet. I think he's a very interesting prospect. He looked great and brave. I think he's going to be fun to watch, but giving him an 8-3 UFC veteran as his first fight is just a huge ask. So I have a bet on the under 2.5 in this fight. I got it at minus 140 about 3 minutes after Brady got it at minus 120. I was chatting with him and I'm like, all right, I missed 120. I'm going to go for, or no, I went for 120, missed it. Went for 130, missed that like 30 seconds later, and then got minus 140. So I do like that, but I think the best bet is Dos Santos inside the distance here. I just don't see Benoit Saint-Denis being ready yet. And everything that Narco Cop said about what a tough debut it is to come in against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos is spot on. So yeah, I'm going with Dos Santos inside the distance plus money, guys.
Yep, sweet. Looks like we all agree on that one there. We do have a Dad Trader with a super sticker. Appreciate you, Dad Trader, for hanging out early on a Saturday morning. Stevie as well. What is up, Stevie, with the $8.99? Appreciate you, Steve, for hanging out. Appreciate the dono as always. But yeah, I say, Headley want to bring up a decent point here. Saint-Denis weigh-in compared to what he looked like 3 months ago. Looks like he looks a lot different. So I don't know what's going on there, but yeah.
Yeah, guys, what's going on there is that Brave doesn't have a welterweight division. They have a super welterweight division at 175 pounds. So what they do is they go 155, 165, 175, 185. So Saint-Denis was weighing in 5 pounds heavier.
Awesome catch.
Yep. That's why it looks a little bit smaller.
And then we have Dope Cowboy with the song here. Some of those that shave asses are the bets that Weezy cashes. Weezy, what's that from?
Dude, that's from Rage Against the Machine right there. That's some college music for me right there. That is an absolute classic. Dope Space Cowboy, always dropping the great lyrics in the chat, man.
Shout out to Dope Space, bringing it every week. I love that guy. All right, so we'll move on to the next fight here. And we have Albert Duraev going against Roman Kopylov. And yeah, I think for me, this is probably one of my favorite bets on the card. And I got the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 200. And I still think there is some solid value there. Minus 215 for the fight doesn't go. The reason being, I think the most likely scenario is Albert Duraev takes down Roman Kopylov early and just shaves his ass. But if Duraev does lose, he's been knocked out 3 times. Roman Kopylov has a ton of knockouts on his record. I believe every one but one fight of Kopylov's wins have came by knockout. So this guy has a ton of power. Duraev's been knocked out. But we have seen Kopylov taken down. He got taken down in the 3rd round by Carl Roberson, and he got submitted with like no resistance at all. And I think Duraev, his wrestling's solid, his grappling's really good. So yeah, I think Duraev does, take him down pretty easily here and get him out of there. But this fight doesn't go to decision. It does cover both sides, minus 215. I think someone's getting finished regardless. Both guys, I believe, have been finished in all their losses. So that's something to mention as well. So yeah, I do like this quite a bit, minus 215. Wheezy, what are you looking at for this fight here?
Yeah, I got to echo everything Brady just said because we're completely on the same page when it comes to this one. I have a bet on the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 200. It not only covers what I think is the most likely scenario, which is Duraev to win by ass shaving, but it also covers the fact that Kopylov, in 7 of his 8 victories, he's knocked his opponent out, and Duraev in all 3 of his losses, he's been knocked out. So I really think someone's going to wind up losing inside the distance here, and that you'll wind up winning. Your fight doesn't go to decision bet. But official ass shaving of the week pick is Duraev inside the distance, and I also have a bet on that.
I like it. Looks like we're on the same page here, looking for some violence on this fight. Narco, you going the same way? You're looking at something else here.
Yeah, I got some violence too. I got a little bit of a different violent take. Duraev by KO plus 500. I think he gets it down to the ground. I know he has a lot of submissions on his record, but the guy also has really, really devastating ground and pound. And if he is to take this guy down early, I think he has a good chance of pounding him out just as much as he has a chance to sub him. And the sub line extremely, it's at plus 135, I believe. And you're getting a plus 500 on the TKO, which I think he still has a chance to get. On the Kopylov side, if you are to try to play Kopylov and you think that he gets him out of there, what I think is a sneaky play is based on looking at Kopylov and all of his fights. Almost all of his knockouts are late. They're second round, third round, fourth round finishes. If Duraev is to gas out here trying to get takedowns and stuff, Kopylov seems to be carrying his power late into fights. And most of his wins, like I said, are second and third and fourth rounds by KO. That plus 2,900 is a big, big price there for round 3 if he gets there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I noticed the same thing. A lot of his wins are late in the fight. So, yeah, something to mention there, 2,900. But yeah, I think we're on the same page that Duraev probably does get him out of there and get him out of there early. But like if you said, if he does, slow down, Kopylov could be live in that third. But we will move on to the next fight. Before we do so, 350 of you in here, if you all can please smash that like button. A lot of people showing up, which is awesome, especially on an early card like this. We appreciate you guys hanging out on an early Saturday morning. For most of us, I know some of you guys are different time zones and all that. Appreciate you guys as well. So we'll move on to the next fight here. We have the last prelim here before we get on the wait. No, we don't. We have Zabara Tukhugov. I try to skip the fight, but I'm not going to. Zabara Tukhugov going against Ricardo Ramos. I will start with Wheezy. Wheezy, what are you looking here for this one?
Yeah, I have no read on this fight. I did virtually no research. So what you're going to get from Uncle Wheezy is the trademark cop-out pick. I'm picking the draw. 66-1, baby. Zabira Tukhugov has been in split decisions 4 of his last 5 fights. I think it might be close. We can root for nut shots. We can root for fence grabs. We can root for eye pokes. We're going to have a lot of fun watching a fight that we don't have much of a read on, or I don't have much of a read on. Draw. Book it.
Book it. Lock of the week. Lock of the week here. I like it. Regardless, though, it's going to be a very, very close fight. So we'll see what happens there. Narco, what are you looking at here for this fight?
Honestly, the more I look at this fight, the more I think this fight goes to decision, man. I don't see, Zabira Tukhugov in 20, 26 fights, 14 times this guy's been to decision. He is not a finisher. He just does not finish much. Low volume. The same thing on the Ramos side. I don't like what I see from both fighters, I'll be honest. And I don't blame Uncle Weezy for not even going into tape on this fight because it is really underwhelming what I see from both guys. I don't think either guy is going to finish here. I still think minus 165 is actually value that this fight goes to decision just based on how these two guys fight. I did want to give out a line, but it's not readily available to everybody. But it's the fight split or majority decision is plus 400. Both, I think it's going to be a really close fight, either one way or the other. So I think you're getting a nice plus money line that this fight probably ends up by split or majority decision.
Yep, I agree. I think it does go to decision as well. I took the fight goes to decision minus 165. I agree with all your thoughts there. And if you guys do have like the split or majority decision props available, I think that's definitely a way to look at it. I think it's gonna be a very, very close fight. A fight that I don't want to have too much action on. We have the GOAT in the chat, Tajik. What is up, Tajik? How you doing? Best of luck to you today. We have F. Carrillo with the super sticker, $20. Appreciate you, F. Carrillo, for hanging out and appreciate the dono a lot. Carrillo saying, Wheezy, thoughts on Hugh for a win? Wheezy, I think he wants nothing to do with that fight, right, Wheezy?
Yeah, I want nothing to do with that fight, but I really did like what Narco Cop said about the third round possibility for Who, because, Petroski taking this fight on short notice. He's flying across an ocean to get over to Fight Island. And, we don't know what we're going to see out of Who, but if he does get it done, it'll probably be late against the gassed out Petroski.
Yeah, I think Petroski round 1, 2, rounds 2, and rounds 3 are all live. Chris in the chat as well. What is up, Chris? All right, so we'll move on to the next fight on the card. This is the people's main event. And like I said last night on my show, I was like, man, we have all these great fights, but all I see on Twitter, all I've been hearing all week is about this fight here. Amanda Ribas going against Verna Jandiroba. And Verna Jandiroba is a fighter that I really do like. I don't mind Ribas as well, but this should be a very, very fun fight. I remember Bet Online posted a tweet midweek, and they put the action up there, who's betting what, and Amanda Ribas was the #1 bet fighter, and Verna Jandiroba wasn't, much farther down the list. I think she's like 4 or 5. So a lot of people are very invested into this fight, including one guy, and that's Uncle Weezy. Uncle Weezy, I know you have a lot of hot takes on this fight for sure. And let's just say, let's get those appletinis ready, right?
Let's get them ready. Get ready for the tears to start falling into those appletinis when Amanda Ribas loses this fight. So the bet that I'm going to give you guys here is one that I wish that I got. I've got a max bet on Verna at plus 128. You can get it now at plus 150. You probably could have got it at plus 160 at other points in the week here. I'll just give you what I think is going to happen here. I see Amanda having an advantage with the striking, and she's got a 2-inch reach advantage. I see her being faster. And then I give every other edge to Verna here. I give Verna the experience edge. I give her the grappling edge. I give her the wrestling edge. I give her the durability edge and the strength schedule edge. The thing that people talk about with this fight is the Dern results for both of these ladies. So Ribas beat Dern, and Jandiroba lost to Dern. But they're two completely different versions of Mackenzie Dern that these ladies fought. Amanda Ribas fought the post-pregnancy Dern that was fat, missed weight, out of shape, and hadn't been training with Jason Perillo. So she had no striking whatsoever. And at that point in her UFC career, had 6% takedown accuracy. Then fast forward about a year and a half, and that's when Jandiroba is fighting Mackenzie Dern. And, when you fight Mackenzie Dern, if you're a great grappler, that gets taken away from you. So that's what happened to Jandiroba in that fight. I see her being a little bit better everywhere here, you guys. So except for the striking. And I do see this fight taking place in control time positions more than half the time. I see Jandiroba winning this one and could potentially get a submission.
I like it. Razor in the chat. Good luck today, Brady. Good luck to you as well, Razor. Narco Cop, are you on the Verna side as well? Or are you going the other way?
I'm actually the other way. I'm at Ribas. I have a bet on Ribas by decision plus 130. You can still get it at plus 120. I hear what Uncle Weezy's saying. I just think the levels of striking is so wide here. I do not like what I see from Jandiroba on the feet. I know people are looking at that Murata fight, last fight, but listen, Murata does not know what she's doing in the stand-up. She's a wrestler. She's a really tiny girl. When you look at face-offs for this fight, I was amazed at how much bigger Amanda Ribas is at face-offs. When it comes to the ground game, I will say the better submission grappler here is Verna Jandiroba, but I also think Ribas is very good on the ground herself. And one thing I will say is the Verna submission is extremely off on FanDuel. It's plus 1,200 on FanDuel, guys. Everywhere else, it's like plus 700, plus, 750, 800, but it's plus 1,200 on FanDuel. And I think, Verna will have some shots at submissions, and she's really, really, really high level. Even though Ribas is a BJJ black belt, there's levels to black belts, and she's just that, tier above her. So yeah, my official best bet is Ribas by decision plus 120. I just think she's the better fighter. She took a round. She dominated actually a round off Marina Rodriguez before she got knocked out in that second round. And I just don't think Jandiroba has the hands to actually do anything to Ribas.
Yeah, I do agree that if you are on the Ribas side, I think decision is definitely the way to go, plus 130. Before I get into what I like here, Tajik matching the Dono 1999, who is picking up the Dono train. Shout out to Tajik, the GOAT of the MMA betting community and the GOAT of MMA donations, supporting the MMA community. As always, shout out to him. He's also putting out some content as well. I was able to check it out. Tajik is putting out some fire content. So shout out to Tajik, the GOAT. But for me, Nark, you mentioned it. The Jandiroba submission prop plus 1,200. This is an official play of mine. And it's still there. At one point, it went up to like plus 1,500 for some reason. Was not able to get that. But yeah, no, that's Ribas. But Jandiroba by submission plus 1,200. Yeah, I went up to plus 1,500 for like 30 minutes. But yeah, Jandiroba by submission. She's very dangerous on the mat. Ribas has been finished by knockout in both of her losses. It's off. It's definitely off. Plus 1,200. I think it could happen. Probably doesn't happen, but at plus 1,200, somebody as dangerous as Verna, a fight that I think is going to hit the ground. Why not take a shot there? So I do like that quite a bit. But we'll move on to the main card here. And we have Magomed Ankalaev going against Volkan Oezdemir. Narco, what do you like for this fight here?
I mean, I love Ankalaev in this spot. I think his counter striking, how crisp he is on the feet. I think if he wants to take this to the ground, he can take it to the ground. And I think it's a smart thing to do against Volkan, because I do respect everything Volkan does in the ring. I do believe the guy has a good chin, even though he's been knocked out. The guy has been, he just throws caution to the wind when he gets into the pocket. And, you're going to get knocked out when you do that at 205 against good hitters like Yuri. I mean, Yuri can knock out anybody. So the one thing I looked at, and I think I've been seeing it a lot all over Twitter, and it's another Lambo play, is Ankalaev by submission plus 2,000.
Ooh.
I think the smart thing to do here is get this fight to the ground, because you notice against Krylov, he dominated the fight on the ground later on in the fight. So I think if he gets Oezdemir down, he's the much better grappler. You're getting, I got it in at plus 2,600 earlier, but it's plus 2,000, and I still think it's good. Yeah, that's what I have as my best bet. Ankalaev submission plus 2,000.
Nice. Yeah, definitely worth a shot there. For me, I'm going to take the fight doesn't go to decision minus 185. I think somebody does get finished here, whether it is an Ankalaev submission, which would be great for you, an Ankalaev knockout. And I think if Oezdemir does win, I think it's going to be some type of finish as well. I think this does cover both sides here, minus 185. I don't mind that line. We take a look on FanDuel, it's minus 215. DraftKings minus 200. So Bet Online minus 185, even minus 170 on 5 Dimes. So yeah, I don't mind that. Fight is a good decision, covering both sides there. Wheezy, what are you looking at for this fight?
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. I can't wait. But I actually do have the fight doesn't go to decision for this one in a 4-leg greasy parlay. Yeah, there's going to be some violence here, I'm feeling like, for this one. Oezdemir hits super hard. Ankalaev taking a big step up in competition here. And, both of these guys really good finishers in their own right. So, yeah, I don't think this fight's going to decision. I think somebody's going to get slept here.
I like it. Yeah, it's going to be a great fight to kick off the main card. And then we have the fight that a lot of people are looking forward to, the return of Khamzat Chimaev going against the Leech here. Chimaev, a little bit of a layoff. I think he's been out for over a year. Had the COVID situation, was on the verge of retiring at one point, but glad to see him back. Potential weigh-in issues. We weighed in a half a pound over. And then he was able to finally make weight there about an hour later or less. But yeah, should be a good fight here. Wheezy, what are you looking at for this one?
Yeah, I think the safest spot for this fight is just the fight doesn't go to decision here. You can actually still get it around minus 250 on a couple of different books. I got it at minus 240 earlier in the week. It covers both sides. I mean, my pick is Chimaev inside the distance, but if this thing gets extended past 7.5 minutes, we know how dangerous the Leech can be. And I figure it's either Chimaev early or Lee late, but either way, fight doesn't go to decision, should cash easily. Use it as a parlay piece, as a matter of fact. I'm that confident in it.
I like it. Narco, what are you looking at for this fight here?
I actually found this morning, and I really like this play. Under 2.5 on DraftKings is minus 195, guys. I think that's a really good play. You're getting a nice discount off the fight doesn't go for a half a round. So I don't think this fight's going to be extended. I think it's going to end one way or another. Minus 195, under 2.5. Sign me up. I didn't have it up until this morning.
Yeah, I like that a lot, for sure. I went the violence route as well. I took the fight won't start round 3, minus 165. Obviously, Chimaev has never been into the third round, never been to decision. I don't think he's ever been over that 1.5 round mark as well. Of course, the Leech is going to be, probably the toughest test of his career, but I still think he's going to come out here and probably get him out early. If he does not get him out of there in that first round and a half, 2 rounds, I'm actually concerned. Potential. Like, what's his cardio like? What is his cardio like if this fight does get extended? We don't know. We have not seen him extended into a fight. Maybe that happens here, but I do think the most likely scenario is Chimaev does get him out early. This also does cover a potential early Leech knockout, but I think most likely scenario is Chimaev does take him down and finishes him shortly after there. But yeah, should be a really fun fight for as long as it lasts. I do like all of our violent spots there. Alex with the dono. Let's keep it going. Good luck to everyone. War Volkov. There we go. Yep, I'm pretty high on Volkov myself. Shout out to Alex for hanging out and shout out for the dono there. You guys are killing it with the donos today and killing it in the chat as well. I think we're about to set a record. We have like 495 people in here for an early card. That's awesome. Thank you all for hanging out. And I agree with Carrillo here. Smash the like. But DXJC saying the Leech plus 2,200. Yeah, don't hate that. Wheezy, what are you looking at for this one here?
Are we talking about for Volkov Tybura?
Oh crap! You already went. See, this is what happens when we go early in the morning. But
yeah, dude, no, trust me, man. I mean, we're none of us are at our best right now. But for Volkov Tybura, I'm going to go with that Volkov KO. Tybura has been KO'd in 3 of his 5 UFC losses and 4 of his 6 pro losses. Volkov hits like a truck. And Tybura is probably going to have a little bit of success maybe early with the wrestling, but if he doesn't get him out of there early, Volkov is going to be chipping him up in the second and the third, and I see him getting a late finish here. And when you see that Volkov really probably isn't going to submit anybody, and you look at the money line, Volkov sitting around minus 300 on most books, but Volkov by TKO is plus 150 on FanDuel. Man, that's a big gap right there. You're talking about a 75% implied probability going down to like a 40-something implied probability if Volkov does knock this dude out. So that seems like the best value bet for me on this one.
Yeah, that spot's really sticking out to me as well. With the Volkov KO plus 150, I think that is on FanDuel Sportsbook, and that is the best line by far. The next best line's plus 130. So I think Volkov by a KO plus 150. I don't think that Tybura has the best chin. He's been able to recover against guys that are going to slow down, like a Walt Harris who gasses out after 2.5 minutes, a Greg Hardy that gassed out after about a round. But Volkov's not going to gas out. Volkov's put on some weight. He's looking good. He's hitting harder. I think Volkov does put a stop to Tybura by knockout as well, plus 150. I really don't hate that line at all. Narco Cop, what are you looking at for this one here?
I see the same thing you guys are seeing. Volkov KO, TKO, plus 150. Tybura, very hittable. Now facing an absolute monster. He looks extremely small next to Volkov at faceoffs, and Tybura is not a small guy. Like you mentioned, Tybura got rocked really, really bad in both of his last fights. Not only the Harris fight, but also the Hardy fight. And both guys gassed. I don't see Volkov gassing. Volkov is a lot cleaner, a lot smarter when it comes to his striking. And he just has it all, man. Leg kicks, everything. And the guy's not easy to take down. You look at his takedown defense, and that's skewed basically on one fight, the Blades fight, right? So I think he gets this guy out of there. Maybe Tybura has some cage push in him and maybe one takedown, but Volkov is going to get back up, and Volkov is going to punish this guy when it's on the feet.
I like it. Yeah, I'm very invested in Volkov with my biggest play of the night, so hopefully he does come through. We have Dan Goldstein with the dono saying Corolla plays. I like it. Shout out to Dan, always bringing the comedy into the chat. Love Dan for sure. All right, so we'll move on to the next fight here, and we have Islam Makhachev going against Dan Hooker. This is a fight that I'm really looking forward to here. Weezy, kick us off. What are you looking at here for this fight?
Man, so I have no action on this fight. The tax is just too much to pay on Makhachev here. Um, I don't have a bet. I don't have a lean. I don't have anything here because nothing makes sense to me in terms of the prices that we have to pay in order to get on Makhachev. But then it just feels like if you're betting Hooker here, like are you just throwing your money away? I mean, can anybody at this point hang with Islam Makhachev at this level? Um, I mean, I really don't have anything for. I mean, what's Makhachev by decision?
I think last time I saw was plus 100 around there.
I mean, maybe that, maybe he doesn't finish him. That would probably be the best way for me to try to get some value on this. But yeah, and it's sitting right there around minus 105, plus 105. You can get it in between there. That would probably be the way that I would play this if I were playing it. But man, I am not touching this. I'm just going to be rooting for Dan Hooker to catch him with something, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah, that Russian tax is getting crazy. We all can agree that this line is probably off, but we all can probably agree that Hooker does not get it done. Narco Cop, anything sticking out to you on this one?
I said it yesterday. This line is completely off. It's crazy that this guy all of a sudden is minus 700. But man, he's so good. And I'm gonna tell you one thing. I know Hooker's never been submitted, but Hooker's also never faced a grappler like this in his career. And everybody said that, no one thought that Makhachev was going to submit Thiago Moises, who's a high-level BJJ black belt, and he actually did. And I think Hooker is not as good as Moises is on the ground. And I think that submission line at plus 250 for Makhachev, I really think that's live here in this spot, because I think when he gets it to the ground, I think Hooker is pretty much screwed. I know I like Hooker. I know he's really good. I just think he's in for it in this fight, man, against a guy that's just an insane grappler, man. Everything he does on that ground is just superb. And another thing that the GOAT said yesterday on my show is, I think they interviewed Khabib for this fight, and he said he told Makhachev to go out and take this guy out and get him out of there. So, whatever that means, I don't know if he's going to go for it, but he went for it last time, and he got Moises out of there, and I was really impressed that he got a guy like Moises out of there, and he's just so slick on the ground, man.
Yep, it definitely wouldn't shock me, man. Plus 250 is not a bad line. I'm gonna take the decision though. Hooker has never been submitted in the UFC, but like you said, he's never fought Islam Makhachev. The last time I can remember where somebody really tried to implement a wrestling heavy game plan, grappling heavy game plan was like Jason Knight back in like 2016. Knight was able to take him down 4 times, take his back. So yeah, the submission could happen. But I think Dan Hooker could last year. Plus 100, plus 105 is kind of what I'm looking at, but I ultimately don't have a bet in this fight. But I think Makhachev does get it done regardless. But now we'll move on to the co-main event, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to both these fights. Both these fights are phenomenal. Petr Yan going against Corey Sandhagen. Narco Cop will stick with you. What are you looking at here for your best bet?
You know what? My usual bets with Yan are round 4, round 5. I bet him every single time in a 5-round fight. Those things are like automatically bet by me once he's fighting a 5-round fight against anybody, because this guy's pressure is absolutely insane. He breaks people. We consistently seeing him break people over a 5-round fight. I do like Sandhagen a lot. I like what he does. I like his striking. He's long. But man, Petr Yan is a pressure machine, and he does not stop coming. And one thing I did notice with Sandhagen is in that Dillashaw fight is he started succumbing a little to pressure, the later that fight went on. And Petr Yan just has different type of pressure, man. And round 4, round 5 are huge, huge prices on Yan at plus 1,600 and plus 2,500, both on DK. I think he stops him late in this fight. I think Sandhagen has success early, but that success eventually starts going away come the 3rd and 4th and 5th rounds.
Right, so I see that Yan wins in round 5 plus 2,500 on DraftKings. And then we see that the round 4 is plus 1,600. Yeah, not bad a look for sure. Wheezy, what are you looking at here for this fight?
Yeah, I kind of feel exactly the same as Narco Cop here. The way that Jan fights, it's really interesting to watch him fight. He's just kind of downloading all the information that his opponent is giving him for the first 2 rounds. And once he's figured out his opponent, he just starts putting it on them. And when he does, it's just terrifying to watch this guy work. He is such a master class of just working every part of your body, being defensively sound, hitting hard, being crisp with his and straight to the target with his strikes. And then, you mix in the wrestling defense for him, which is over 90% takedown defense for Jan, over 60% takedown accuracy. There's nothing that this guy doesn't do well right now. And I just see him continuing. He's going to get that belt. He's going to get that belt back from Aljo. It's just a matter of time. I don't even know if Aljo's showing up for part 2. So I think that this is the next step here for Peter. I'm a big Corey Sandhagen fan. I like everything that he does as well. I just don't see him winning this fight. It's one of those ones when you go to sleep and you start dreaming, you see Peter Yan getting his hand raised. When you picture how this fight goes, that's me. That's what I see happening. I think we're going to see Peter Yan with that belt around his waist, the real one, very soon.
Yep, for sure. What I did here, though, I did find something I did like, actually. The over 3.5 rounds, minus 175. I think if there is a finish, like Narco's saying, I do think it's going to be Jan in rounds 4 or rounds 5. So, yeah, I really do like the over. I think this one does squeak over, get into those later rounds. So, minus 175, I don't hate that at all. I am personally picking Piotr Jan as well. Don't know if I necessarily love that money line, but I do think he does get it done. But yeah, should be a really fun fight. Looking forward to it. But what stuck out to me most was going to be that over 3.5 rounds. I do think it gets extended later, and then also don't mind those sprinkles on the 4 and 5. I really do like that call.
What I will say is live bet. Live bet is a good spot because Jan usually drops, maybe even 2 rounds here, and you might get a nice plus money number on him. And the guy just always comes later on.
Yep, for sure. Good point. There's a pretty good chance that Jan can very well lose that first round, and you'll get a much better price tag. So yeah, I will be keeping a close eye on that. But now we have the main event. Before we get into it, if you all can please smash the like button, subscribe, so you don't miss out on this type of content. We go live every Saturday, 1 hour prior to the prelims, no matter what the time. But we have Jan Blachowicz going against Glover Teixeira, and I will kick this one off. For me, I'm looking at Jan Blachowicz, and I'm looking at Jan Blachowicz by KO, and it's a shame. Well, it's plus 131 on 5 dimes. I really do like that. But yeah, on FanDuel, it was like plus 155 earlier in the week. I would have really liked that. It's still plus 110. I do like that a lot better than the money line. I think the money line's a tad wide, minus 300, just about. Plus 100 for Blachowicz, and what I do believe is his best win condition. Teixeira's been knocked out 3 times. He's been hurt in pretty much every single fight, it seems like. The guy's chin is not there. He's now 42 years old. I think Blachowicz does catch him at some point. So, yeah, Blachowicz by KO, plus 110. If you want to get a little bit safer, Blachowicz wins inside the distance is minus 105, minus 110. Also covers the sub. It potentially could happen, which kind of shocked me, but does cover both outcomes there. But yeah, I think Blachowicz does knock him out at some point. And yeah, it's going to be a really good fight. I'm a big fan of both these guys, but I think Blachowicz does knock him out. Probably like mid to later in the fight is what I'm kind of thinking. But regardless, I think he does get that KO. Narco Cop, what are you looking at here for this fight?
Actually, I kind of like this fight getting extended here. So over 2.5, minus 130. Don't mind that at all. I think this fight, actually you can get it minus 125. I don't mind it at all because I think 5-round fight, bigger ring here. Jan is not like a guy that just goes out and starts starching people, which is some of the trouble that Glover has had recently, where he's getting rocked early in fights and then comes back. But Jan is more technical. Jan's a lot smarter than some of these guys, Glover's fought where they've gassed out and then he's taken over. But man, you can't miss the fact that Glover's been hurt against Santos, against Smith, against Krylov. against Kudalaba, against Roberson. I mean, all 5 of his last wins, he's been hurt in those fights. And like Jan hits hard, he doesn't have a lot of UFC knockouts, but the guy hits really hard. And, but I just think this fight kind of gets extended with, Glover does like to get cage push, and stalling at times on the cage. So the over 2.5 is minus 130. I do like it. That's the way I'll go. I don't have a side. I think the money line's a little too wide. I know a lot of people are on Teixeira. I don't see it. I don't think he's going to win this fight, but I'm not willing to lay minus 300 on Jan in this spot.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it's really hard to count out Glover Teixeira, for sure. But yeah, I think it does get extended as well. So I'm with you there. Dan's saying it's 3:30 a.m. and I want to start drinking, but my family will think I have a drinking problem. To go with being a degenerate. Dan, it's a big card. I think you can get away with drinking at 3:30. I think you should be able to do it. But we have Weezy up next for the main event. Weezy, what are you looking at here?
Yeah, so I was looking at that Blachowicz by KO as well, but the difference between Blachowicz by KO and Blachowicz inside the distance is negligible. So I figured it'd probably be safe just to go Blachowicz inside the distance. Earlier in the week I was really on Teixeira here winning this fight. But what kind of changed my mind was looking deeper into the takedown defense of Blachowicz and seeing that, it was bad. It was 50% for the first 6 fights of his career, but then it's about 86% for the last 10 fights. And, if as long as he keeps this fight standing, I think he'll have a pretty good advantage here over Teixeira. And like Narcocop said, Teixeira got hurt so many times in so many fights. You got to believe that if Blachowicz hits him that hard, it's going to be over. So, yeah, Blachowicz inside the distance is how I'm going to finish this one out, you guys.
I like it. So we did it, guys. We went through all 14 fights getting done just in time. I think they're going to push the fights back like 15 minutes since we did lose a fight. So not in any rush here. On the way out, we'll start with Narco Cop here. Narco, let them know where they can find you, what you have going on throughout the week. I know you're doing Contender Series. I think there's one more week of that. And then you also have a very cool live stream on Friday. You do at 10 o'clock Eastern time, right?
Correct. The Lambeau Place podcast, it's at 9 p.m. on Friday, Central Standard Time. I had a UFC, not a UFC fighter, but a Dana White Contender Series winner, Mo Miller, yesterday. I will have another MMA fighter this coming Friday. He's a PFL guy. I'll give you guys a little insight. But, yeah, I also have the Dana White's Contender Series. That's on Mondays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time also. And, yeah, it's been a great run on Dana White's Contender Series. Small win last week, but lots of big wins before that. Yeah, guys, Narco Cop on Twitter. My YouTube is Narco Cop MMA. I'm going to come out with some gear pretty soon. And, just thank you to everybody in chat, guys. Without all these people in chat, these streams would not be going on. So thank you to Brady. Thank you to Uncle Weezy. It's always a great time to be in here with you guys.
Heck yeah. Thank you for coming on, Narco. As always, very sharp guy there. And then we have Uncle Weezy as well. Uncle Weezy, let him know where they can find you and what you have going on throughout the week. I know you're getting really close to that 1K sub mark on YouTube. I know you're trying to hit that by the end of the year. So if you guys can go check out Weezy, go hit the sub button, try to get him to 1K subs, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm getting there, man. I'm close to like 800 subs right now on my YouTube channel. It's just been blowing up. So thank you for everybody that's been coming and watching my videos, watching Just the Tip, watching the Balls Deep breakdowns. You can check me out on YouTube at Uncle Weezy. You can check me out on Twitter at MMA Weezy. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm here with Brady on Pub Sports Radio 2 days a week. I'm on Brady's channel 1 day a week. I'm on my channel like 2 or 3 days a week. You can find me wherever people are doing balls deep breakdowns of UFC fights. Thanks for everybody that's hanging out with us. God, it's been awesome watching the chat here. There's people from India, Indonesia, Russia. I see Cyrillic alphabet in there. I see, you guys are absolutely killing it. It's so cool to watch you guys hang out with us, talk fights. It's a privilege to be able to do this. Thanks for having me, Brady.
Yep, for sure. Always nice having you on, Weezy. And guys, you can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. You can follow me on YouTube here. Subscribe to the channel. Lots of content throughout the week. I'll be live with Uncle Weezy tomorrow for Stat Diggers. We're going to dive deep into UFC 268. I have about half the card already taped there. Looking forward to it. Should be another really good card. So we have a lot of great fights to look forward to as fans. Thank you all again for hanging out. If you guys can hit the like on the way out, subscribe, be much appreciated. And thank you guys for hanging out on an early Saturday morning. Best of luck for UFC 267. Let's make some money, and let's have some fun watching these fights. See you guys.